The final broken world. Update. Tomorrow STBXWW will return to work, and we will be amending our rotating schedule. Since our son obviously is not sleeping through the night yet, it is not ideal to swap out as originally planned yet. I will keep him while she works and stay here at night for the next month. We will rotate out weekends. I have taken a work contract for 6 months for some extra money, and since it is via remote and I basically set my own hours, the above arrangement will work pretty well for the first month she's back to work and allow some adjustment time for her to ease into what will be a pretty hectic schedule for a while. After a month she will have to make arrangements and deal with it the best she can. I'm open to help within reason, but her depending on me defeats the purpose. I foresee me keeping him during the day and her picking him up after work, or me keeping him here and working, babysitting during her week, then living here during my week. I have water and power at my property now and plan on buying a camper to stay in on my alternating weekends and eventually the weeks that I don't stay with my son. I'll use this arrangement until the new house is built later in the summer. Some people asked about the DNA test. The result did come back. He is my son, so don't worry about that. Some of you may have noticed my use of STBXWW again. That's because we have settled on a schedule to proceed with divorce. She has refused to get an attorney and is adamant that my attorney can handle it, and she trusts that I will do what is best for both of us. We will file divorce papers the first week of March and at that time request a custody hearing. If the judge agrees, we will present our arrangement and everything will progress from there. STBXWW has only asked that I meet with her and her therapist one time. I have agreed and it will be this Thursday. I really do not see a downside for me on this. There is nothing that will deter me or change my mind. For the Gina J saga, I have some news. Gina was arrested for Dewey last weekend with the kids in the car. Jay, along with his parents, have gotten temporary custody of the kids and things are hopefully turning in Jay's favor. This is her third Dewey in 24 months, so she faces some serious ongoing issues with her work and of course legal repercussions. As for the ongoing debate about future marriages or boyfriends, etc., I cannot control any of that at all. I do believe I can mitigate it by being as supportive as I can, given the circumstances, to ensure she gets to the bottom of what led her to be so self-destructive. Meeting with her therapist may help. May not. Not a day goes by that she doesn't say sorry, where she hopes she can prove herself worthy of another chance to fix this. She's not interested in anyone else and will wait as long as it takes until we find our way back to each other. Stuff like that. I'm not sure all of that is coming from a very healthy place, so I don't react to it. One final thing on financials. We have agreed on a 15% payout on the sale of the company. I actually set aside 25%. The 15% was what she felt was fair and she refused to increase it. Due to that, I am setting the balance aside until after the divorce is finalized, just to be prepared for anything to change on her end or if the judge decides to increase it. She did it because she wanted to do it. She said that she got caught up in hearing all the talk between Gina and the others about how exciting it was. Even though she is convinced Gina was the only one having an actual pa, she alone made the decision to flirt, and it was like a drug when he reacted. He had already been flirting with her, but she said when she flirted back it was exciting. The next thing she realized, they kissed. And while she felt guilty, it was not nearly as strong as the excitement. Even after the first time she had slept together, she felt immense guilt but could not stop herself. It was only later in the week when she came to her senses. After the party at my parents', she blames no one. It was her decision and she's paying for it and accepts her responsibility in destroying our lives together. Afterwards, in a private talk with her therapist, she said that STBXWW seems to be doing well and that she has come a long way in a short time. Her therapist told me that it is apparent that she loves me and I love her, and this makes it even more tragic. I had my attorney officially file Friday. This will trigger a custody hearing. I told her and she is accepting it better than I am. I spent all weekend depressed, and to her credit she repeatedly told me all weekend that it was okay and I was doing the right thing. I've been doing a lot of self-reflection on myself lately, and the state of our relationship past and present. Looking back, it seems I can cherry-pick little red flags that should have been indicators of her real self. But when I do that, I have to actually question myself on whether or not they are real, or am I looking back with an agenda. So, I've come to the conclusion that it's an exercise in futility and absolutely will not provide me with anything of use going forward. So, the path forward begins in the present. Our current relationship is completely out of balance. She is scared, ashamed, and unsure of her future, whereas I am angry, hurt, but determined to move forward. She is stuck. I can't help her with that anymore. She has to do that for herself and I am not able nor willing to do it for her. We implemented our separation fully. I'm keeping my son during the week during business hours and I leave when she comes home. I am currently living on my property in a fairly nice camper and watching the beginnings of my home being built. I arrive in the morning to relieve her for work. She has him completely every other weekend. She has also begun to look for an attorney but still says it will not change anything. She will agree with what has already been offered. We'll see. She knows there's no R in the future. My weekend with my new bodyguard is coming to an end later today, and he decided 5 a.m. was the absolute best time to alert me of his toilet activities and his desire for room service. I have good days and bad days, a couple of events, but nothing I feel like sharing right now. We do have our court date set for the first week in April, so that's good news. Quick update. First, believe it or not, I actually had a face-to-face with AP. Yep, that happened. Second, we have entered mediation and it's looking pretty good. While I was working from the baby's home, that's what we are calling it since he lives there all the time and we don't, and I hear a knock at the door and it's the AP. Apparently, he served a few months and is now out on probation. He is currently working through a 12-step program for addiction, and part of that is making amends to those he has wronged. And that is why he was there, to apologize. I took the high road and simply told him our lives are none of his business and leave. He then said, I felt I needed to apologize face to face. I spoke to your wife last week and she said you were divorcing, and I wanted to apologize for my part in that. You read that right. He contacted her, and she did not tell me. Of course, this did not sit well, but in her defense, she did tell me later. She wanted to speak to her therapist before she told me. We were under a strict no-contact rule during that time, and she was torn between breaking the no-contact and informing me. Therapist said to tell ASAP, so she did. I'm okay with that. I filed for at-fault divorce on the grounds of adultery. STBXWW asked me to file on these grounds. Her words, I do not want any more lying about this. We are divorcing because of my affair. So, I did. I also filed a divorce settlement agreement that outlined financials, property division, and custody. She was served, the whole 9 yards. Anyway, she notified the court that she was not contesting anything. We were notified yesterday that we will have a hearing in May, and barring any changes at that point the judge will sign off on it. We will be officially divorced 30 days later. So, come June I'm free. Fingers crossed. My home is coming along well. I currently have a nice camper and I'm living on site during my off week from staying with the baby. My social life is better. I am speaking with a couple of female acquaintances. Nothing serious, just friendly banter, and they aware of my situation and each other. Please don't read anything into this other than female friendship. That's all it is at this point. I'm definitely not ready for a relationship right now. I am not aware of anything going on in STBX's life outside of her work. She has stopped pleading for reconciliation. She's not happy. That is apparent. She hardly smiles when I see her, but she seems to have resigned herself to the divorce, and as you can see from the above, she is going above and beyond to make this as painless as possible. Whatever her motivations might be, I do appreciate her doing this. I'm okay. I'm at peace, and I'm enjoying my life and my son right now. And that's it. It was about 3 or 4 days after I found out before she told me. She apologized for not telling me sooner, and her timeline was spot on with his. She genuinely was worried about doing the wrong thing. I know that. Could she have done as you suggested? Yep. But at this point I think she is so afraid of making things worse it paralyzes her ability to make decisions about stuff like this. And I might add, I never told her he reached out to me. I thought about it. But after watching the agony on her face when she had to tell me he contacted her, I didn't see the point. She didn't encourage him to do it, and I didn't want to have to deal with her reaction when she found out he did. So, I let it go. Yeah, the consequences are hitting her hard. But at this point I think it's best for me to move on. She will hopefully continue to work on herself. I think she is about as close to true remorse as you can get and not be there. I say this because I still feel there is some self-pity there, and I still can't tell if her actions to this point are remorseful or due to self-preservation. Admittedly, I am probably a very unbiased observer either. The other man's apology. Hey, if he's sincere about cleaning up his life, then good for him. I'm not going crap on him for that. But it doesn't change my opinion of him. And my opinion of him is, screw him. He didn't owe me any loyalty. My STBX did, but still, screw him. I really think at this point she is so afraid to rock the boat it causes her to freeze up when making decisions or taking actions within the confines of our current relationship dynamics. Early on, when it finally hit her that R was not happening, she was nervous and awkward, fidgeting when we were face to face, folding and unfolding her arms, just at a loss at how to act and what to say and what not to say. She's gotten better, but it's still there. She knows it's over. She knows she is the reason. She knows she has no ability to fix it. She knows I'm moving on. She still wants to R. All of the above is affecting her in a very bad way. I'm not blind to that, and I can sympathize up to a point. But I can see how it is causing her to be unsure about our interactions. The apology, I don't care what the motivation is or whether he was sincere or not. He got his one and only pass. He's never to cross my path again. STBX, I have no desire to be involved with her day-to-day life outside our son. The only stipulation in the divorce agreement about a third-party, romantic partner is that they are not allowed to be at the home our son lives. No visiting and no staying overnight. If she chooses to spend the night off somewhere with someone else and takes him, there is nothing I can do. At his age I would like to think she would know better, but it is what it is. Financially she is going to do okay if the judge agrees to our petition. I'm not going into specifics, but the agreement is fair and alleviates any child support. My son is in a unique position that by the time he is college age he will have financial opportunities and choices that most do not have. If she is wise and careful with the settlement, in less than 10 years or 12 years at the most, her only need to work will be for insurance benefits. As for the no contact, I refused to speak or see her unless it had anything to do with our son. When I took over custody, it was needed to know only. If she tried to speak about anything else, I shut it down. That is the backstory on her dilemma on notifying me of contact immediately. As I said in an earlier post, I seem to have created an atmosphere where she was paralyzed to make any decisions surrounding talking to me about our relationship and anything affair-related. Because of that realization, I have adjusted my interactions to some extent, and I don't hold any animosity towards her about the delay in notifying me. Looking back, I realized I was not clear that he made contact here. I own this home, the one my son stays in. I am providing it as a neutral area as well as a space where our son can feel some consistency in his home life. A pee is not allowed here. Period. Her contact with him was here. She told him to go away and he did. She did not inform me immediately, and the rest played out as I posted here. They are still back and forth on custody issues, but he's through with her and she's on about boyfriend number 8 at this point. I listen to him and give advice as I can, but I'm trying to limit my contact. He's a good guy, but he's sinking into a bad place and just not ready to move forward yet. When he's ready, I'll be there, but I can't let him take me down with him. I'll just keep a close watch from a distance until he's ready. The OBS had begun to distance myself from for a while. Nothing personal, but just felt there was a little too much involvement on her end. It is a very personal situation, but I'm greatly appreciative of her help and assistance. I'll probably reach out more after it's all over, just to update and keep with her. Did she talk to Am more than she said? I have no clue. She says she told me the entire conversation. I'm not concerned one way or the other. I just don't want him at my home. How did he know when I was there? Again, no clue, but I would guess my vehicle. It's a Ford 4-wheel drive and bright red. Definitely different from her SUV. I assume some drive-by were involved. He owned a gym she was a member of too. I'm guessing he still has some members' addresses. Why wait to tell me? Answered this earlier, but basically, I created a situation that basically paralyzed her decision-making when it came to contact. Could she have done it in some other way? Of course, but she didn't. I accept my part in that, and I accept that her intentions were good. Apology. I do not care what his reasons are. Stay away. Current custody, living arrangements. Of course, this is temporary. I own the home. We are still married. No outside people on either side. The arrangement is to give the baby a sense of continuity and familiarity. Arrangements will be revisited when the time is right. I fully expect her to move on at some point. If we can stay calm and friendly, there is no reason we can't make the best of a bad situation. I'm to the point that I'm willing to do that, and not just because of wanting a favorable custody arrangement. I want it because it's best for my son, and frankly, I'm seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. The anger is not as intense. The pain is there, but it's not as sharp. If she can handle her emotions and her life better over the coming years, then we might be in as good a place as possible for a family that is split. This has been incredibly hard to manage. I acknowledge that I have had to put some of my own mental health issues on the back burner since finding out she was pregnant. It's been just over a year, and quite frankly, I'm exhausted. But so far, it's worked. I need this divorce, and I fully expect to disappear for a week after it's final. No friends, no family, no ex, no one knows where. I need a reboot. If I was a drinking man, I'd be drunk 24/7. I'm not sure why everyone seems to forget this is a temporary arrangement for now. We are still married. It's my house, not ours. If she wants to get her own house or move in full-time with her parents or a guy or whomever, I can't stop her and won't. She's still hoping there is a future for us, even though I have been clear there is not one. She's agreed to that right now. Of course, we will have to revisit it. But right now, I'm planning on taking advantage of that to ensure we both bond with our child as much as possible without others interfering. And right now, she agrees. For the trillionth billionth time, I want to show I am capable of handling 50-50 custody of a newborn. Everything I have done since finding out she was pregnant has been to get to 50/50 custody. I'm not guaranteed that at my son's age. If anyone else has a better idea, too late. May 5th is when we should hear from the judge, and if all goes well, 30 days later, I'm divorced with 50-50 custody of a 6-month-old. Oh, and a new home close to being finished. Update. Well, I'm divorced. Officially, I'll be divorced in the next 30 days, but yeah, it's over. There were a few inconsequential changes in the financials, but overall, it was we agreed. The judge did express concern about our custody arrangement as it stands, but stated as long as we are happy with it, he would allow it. He has recommended we switch to a more traditional drop-off routine within the year. Me and my ex have already discussed this. She and I did talk briefly afterwards. She's maintaining that she would like to at least try reconciliation in the future. I have been and will stay non-committal about that right now. And finally, I leave this weekend on a trip. I have decided to disappear for a few days. Just me. No friends. No family, though my family knows where I'm going. but I plan on spending some time out of the US and away from all of this. Hopefully I'll come back fully charged. Pretty anticlimactic after a year. We spoke briefly afterwards and then we went our separate ways. Other than custody handoff, there will be no more contact. We are actually going to use a court-approved custody app to correspond between each other. It was the judge's only change in our agreement. My son is getting bigger every day and right now he's my biggest concern. I hope I will be half the dad my father was. A quick check-in to let everyone know we are adjusting to the new normal. Mom, she's doing better. It's been hard to watch her be okay one minute and then break down the next, but she has somehow succeeded in being mom throughout this. I see her every day, as do my siblings. She still worries about us. She's a very strong person. Son getting bigger every day. Personality traits are beginning to come through. I could spend every minute of my life with him. We have a camera on him at night and there are times he will wake up and just spend time looking around. You never think of a baby calmly waking up, but they do, and his curiosity at this age is amazing to watch. Nothing here to report. We are cordial when we swap custody. She is not initiating small talk outside of asking how my mother is doing. I have no idea what is currently going on in her life and I like it that way right now. She has made no proclamations of love or trying to win me back. Things are smooth and I want it to stay that way. I'm going through a phase of evaluation in my life right now. I have withdrawn a little from my friend group. Not that I don't speak to them, but I feel the need to develop deeper friendships with some of those in my friend group. Sort of a quality over quantity type thing. I'm trying not to be involved in anything emotionally heavy right now. While I want to be there for my friends, right now I'm just drained emotionally. I need a reset. No dates yet, but I did have a casual hookup a couple of times this week. Not my type of thing, but it happened and I'm not sad about it at all. Just really empty. A means to an end thing. She was more the aggressor, so I just went with it. House will be completed the week after the 4th. Looking forward to that. I had a vacation planned for the week after the divorce was final, but due to my dad's passing, I had to cancel it at the last minute. I'm currently sitting in a condo on the Gulf Coast, looking out over the Gulf just at sunrise. It's just me and I have to leave later today, but I've been here for 5 days and I feel like a new person. I've met new people. Yes, the casual hookup happened here. I've eaten some great seafood, swam in the ocean and walked on the beach, and cleared my head. My plans are to enjoy the holiday with my family, get moved into my new home and then begin looking at some career options. I'm still consulting with the buyer of our company, but I really want to move on and do my own thing. That's it. My mom has her good days and bad days. My siblings and I have all taken this time to really reaffirm our love of our family. While we have always been close, losing our father has actually brought us closer and brought into focus what's important to us. My son, I don't have the words to describe what it's like. I spend every minute with him like it's my last and miss him so much on my off week. He's growing so fast. I am still switching back and forth. 1 week home, 1 week at my ex's home. While not officially hers yet, it will be. We are cordial, no drama. I have not asked about her life and she has not volunteered anything. I see the pouting, sadness sometimes, but it's been overall business-like. Nothing on the relationship front. Not looking but not ignoring either. Just letting life happen. An update, not much. I am now living in my new home and the old house is now the ex's. My son stays with her a week and me a week. Her mother is now keeping him during the day, so my interaction with her is through text, baby and business only, and then at drop-off and pickup. I'm working on a new project with my brother and still consulting with the buyers of our old company. Dating on occasion but not much. Focusing on just enjoying life alone. Mentally, I think I have decided to take a year to do just that. Be alone, raise my son, work, and okay a little. I went through a rough 3 days last month when I think I finally let the grieving process take over. I had been anxious and irritable for the last 3 days my son was with me, and after I dropped him off with his mother I went home and basically spent 3 days alone. I went through a lot of crying but also had a lot of anger. The death of my marriage and my father's passing finally came forward in my mind and my heart, and I just let it out. Very cathartic. I changed my exercise routine to free weights and hitting a heavy bag until I'm exhausted, and the whole process of grieving and exercising has brought me to a place of peace with it all. My faith was shaken, but it's still there. Today I'm honestly to a point where I look forward to the next day while living in the now. I can't stress enough how pure physical lifting makes you feel invincible. Anyone reading this, please heed everyone's advice. Hit the gym, lift, be physical. Running is my thing, but this change has been life-altering. My mom and family are doing as best as can be expected. Mom has become the strength of the family once again. The first still hit hard. First birthday without dad, first holiday, etc., but she's doing okay. I honestly do not know what is going on in the life of my ex. She is polite and respectful of my wishes that we interact only within what is needed for our child. I know nothing of her personal life other than her mom is basically living with her right now. Everyone else involved in this I have pretty much cut out of my life, or they have chosen to go back to doing the same destructive things that made their life miserable. I'm not playing in that field anymore. Me and my bodyguard, my son, are doing great. He's amazing and I really enjoy just watching him. It's so incredibly fascinating to watch him grow and change and develop his own little personality. I miss him so much on the week he's with his mother, but unfortunately, it's part of our lives now. And yes, he has his first birthday coming up and it's going to be quite the party. As for me, I'm just living the best life I can right now. I'm fortunate enough to be in control of my future a little more than the average single dad. That's a blessing I definitely don't take for granted. My dating life is pretty tame on average. I'm not interested in anything long-term, but I do date occasionally. It's really difficult to navigate dating right now. While I'm no stranger to what I call swipe dating, it's not really something I like. I would rather meet people in a social setting. My friends have been respectful of my requests to not try to hook me up, but my sisters have not. While they seem to have made it a competition between themselves to see who can find me my next wife. Seriously, I'm just not ready to be serious about women, but I'm not living the life of a celibate, bitter, divorced dad that was cheated on either. Personally, I have moved away from any anger or even sadness about this whole thing. I do feel disappointed at times, but it's no longer front and center of everything in my life. I don't wake up every day thinking about it. It just slips into my day only periodically. It's more of an unconscious thought than an intrusive, all-engulfing feeling. I did have one slip-up during the summer. I made the mistake of talking a little too much during an exchange, and that led eventually to us spending the day as a family at my home. Things got a little too comfortable, and I started to question whether or not I did the right thing, and maybe we could do this, Maybe we could try to reconcile and put it back together and build a marriage again. Now I do still have love for her. But after that day I did a lot of soul-searching and realized that even if reconciliation was on the table, and right now, it's not. It's just too soon. For me, but especially for her. The conversations leading up to that day showed that, but I ignored them because I became enamored with the whole family thing. Spoke to her a few days later and explained that we needed to take things back to the way they were. I could tell she was disappointed, but she was also very mature and understanding about it. Just because I'm sure these questions are going to be asked, I'll try to answer them. No, we did not sleep together. No, we did not have anything physical at all except for a brief hug and a brief hand-holding moment that was more of an unconscious thing. Yes, she has been on 3 dates. Not that I asked, she volunteered. All 3 lunch dates, and in her words, it's just not a good idea to date right now. I didn't sense there was any attempt to make me jealous, just more like she wanted to be honest. Where are we now? Not where we were before the day we spent together, but close. There is more talking when we swap out custody, but not anything deep. Before it was all baby, in and out. Where we spent 5 minutes on the exchange, now it might take 15 minutes. And still, it's mostly about something new the baby did or extended family gossip. We are in a good place right now. Hopefully we can maintain it. She has a ways to go still, and hopefully she will get her life sorted out. If the end results are us being the way we are now, then I'm good. One other thing, through a chance meeting I did have a reconciliation of sorts with her mother. I'm not going into details, but I'm glad my ex-Mill and I have pretty much been able to talk and are now on good terms. I am happy about this. My mom is doing fine and still being my mom. She's had bad days, but the good ones have outnumbered them. We spend every Sunday I have my son with her. How I describe my ex-wife now. Good mom but broken. Not wife material yet, but progressing. After writing that and reading it, I'm a little angry. I am seeing some improvement in her. Granted, it's from a distance and with only brief interactions. But I'm angry to some extent that she put me through this. And now someone else is going to more than likely benefit from my heartache. I probably need to think on this a while and work through it. I know being angry is natural, but I really was hoping I was getting past being unreasonable in my anger. Anger at the situation, yes. Anger at what she put us through, yes. But angry for her improving herself. I don't believe that's healthy, nor do I believe it benefits me in any way. I have been pretty consistent that I still have love for my ex. I'm also aware that I cannot honestly say exactly where that originates and resides in my heart right now. Let me explain. I am a new father. She has given me a wonderful gift despite the circumstances. Is this where my residual feelings of love come from? Is it the wonderful marriage I was a part of until the last 2 years? Is it just out of habit? All or a combination or something else? I don't know. Losing respect and trust because of her infidelity was the major reason I could not stay married, but I think looking back, even after only a short period of time, I don't think I trust myself. I don't trust my own emotions and feelings when it comes to her. A couple of posters have stated that a possible reconciliation may be possible and successful. And if I was honest, I believe they are correct. I don't believe she'll ever cheat on anyone again. I truly believe that. But I'm nowhere near believing I can trust her. Maybe in the future. I don't know. I'm in a good place to continue healing. I have my son 50% of the time. I am financially stable. While I'm not betting everything that crosses my path, I am enjoying the occasional company of a female every once in a while. Not so much physically, but just dates and companionship. Though a couple have gotten physical, but it's just physical, nothing emotional. I think I need that right now. Maybe it's ego. Maybe I'm lonely. Maybe both. But it's working right now. For me, I have stated I know nothing about my ex's private life except what she has said. which I take with a grain of salt and truly believe it's none of my business. Now will I feel different if I wake up tomorrow and she's engaged? I have no idea. For the record, I don't know anything about her current physical life. And more importantly, I do not care. Nor do I expect her to be celibate to prove to me she is worthy of R. If you guys remember, there was another couple in this mess. Gina and Jay. Well, their real names are Virginia and James. 3 weeks ago, James was found gone in his car. He apparently parked his car in the garage he worked at and drank a bottle of whiskey while the car was running. She was keeping the kids from him. She'd reconcile, then cut him off. He just couldn't handle it anymore. She basically used emotional terrorism on that man. He was a wreck. My ex reached out to let me know about it since Jimmy and I really didn't run in the same circles. She's been doing so well in improving herself and being a model co-parent over the last few months. This seems to have brought back a lot of guilt for her. To her credit, she's done her best to hide it and not burden me with it, but I see it during the exchange. Not my monkey, not my circus. Little man is doing great. I'm going through a self-reflection stage right now. I'm realizing I'm not happy, not as I should be. Maybe some leftover grief from my dad passing or marriage ending. I have decided to stop dating. OBS and I met up not long after my last post and had what I would characterize as yawns. That was not the reason we met up, but it happened. Not going to lie, a part of me viewed as a conquest to get back at X and OM thought I was past stuff like this. But apparently, I'm not. It wasn't very romantic. Just met at lunch and started talking and boom, we're getting a room. Spent the afternoon and evening together. I'm not feeling good about it at all. OBS, I think I did something that was so out of character for me. I used her. At least that's where I am at in my thought process right now. I used her in the sense that afterwards I had no real attraction to her. I used her to exercise some sort of anger at her ex. Or my ex, I don't know. Don't get me wrong, I have had the opportunity and I knew it was there, but I knew it was there for the wrong reason from my standpoint. And for some reason I gave in and now I'm left with a shame I am having trouble with. I also feel that I betrayed my ex for some reason. Maybe I feel like I have lost the moral high ground. I don't know. I spoke to OBS and told her I thought it was a mistake. She understands but did say she was open to having a relationship if I thought I could get past whatever issues I'm experiencing. I have chosen no contact right now. My ex has been in the forefront of my thoughts ever since it happened. I'm just going to take some time off from women and regroup. Posting this here is the first time I've spoken to anyone about it. I have decided to speak to my pastor. My father always turned to the Bible in his life, but he also emphasized that when he sought spiritual help many times it led him to answers from the secular world. I think a little religion in this area may help me. I feel a profound loss of myself right now. My experiences over the past 2 years have changed me, as experiences in life should. When I evaluate those changes, I'm seeing someone that is doing things outside my normal behavior. Things I feel are self-destructive and not healthy. Call it an attitude adjustment or a realignment of my moral compass. Whatever, I'm seeking guidance on that part. Many are having a hard time separating my ex's involvement. I don't care if she is involved at this point. If it helps me and does not adversely affect her, then why not? The one-night stand with OBS is a non-issue as far as it is having happened. It was just the straw that broke me and I realized this is not right and I need to step back and evaluate why I'm acting this way. How I am going to fix it. Add in the loss of my father and the rock he had become in my life that I always knew was there. I'm unable to do this on my own. I will repeat, for me this is a spiritual issue. Spiritual, not women casual good time. Here's a final thought. Trust is paramount in a relationship. The events of the past 2 years have affected my ability to trust. How do you trust anyone ever again? My comment, the last update, OP is continuing to work on himself. Some people might find the ending underwhelming. However, it takes years for people to heal and move on. Do you think OP still has a chance with his ex or will he move on? I think he is slowly working towards R, but that might take years at this rate. And what would you do in his shoes? Comment down below and tell us what you think about the ending.